Morning. Well, today's going to be the review, the pros, the cons, and all that good stuff on that Swisher bucket I put on my side by side. And looky there. Well, you just look at it. That big old pile that was right there, she gone. Now, that did not come without a few drawbacks. Some were self-induced because I overloaded the bucket. I think it's rated for 200 pound. I do over 200 pound. Not, I mean, it ain't 1,000 or anything, but look at this. We now have the whole garage totally, I mean, that looks a lot more gooder, right? Yes, I'm using improper English on purpose, just a joke. But I want to go with you and explain a few things on this. What I went through, a little bit of design flaw, in my opinion, in the bucket itself, and that you can use a snow plow mounting plate for this thing. At least I could on my side-by-side. This is a 2011 Kawasaki Teryx 750. And as you can see, my winch broke last night on the final daggone load, which is currently right there, you know, and she weighs at least 20 pounds or so, because it's got that tire just begging for mercy. So overall, the bucket is not bad at all. I did get it to reset the way it's supposed to. The back drag doesn't work as well, but it kind of is what it is. This right here is actually done by hand, by myself. And I usually back drag with my plow that I have, and it does pretty good. I mean, it just goes by the weight of the plow. It back drags pretty decent. These buckets don't back drag worth a poopy. That's just the facts. Here's some flaws that I've noticed. Now, you may see, hopefully you can see, get out of the way. See this here? This right here, I had to greatly support because I ripped it on the underside here. So then I re-welded this and re-welded all this back around and reinforced with some really heavy duty steel. This right here is probably the weakest point on the whole bucket, in my opinion, so far. Another thing, these bolts, you don't see how there's a gap right in between there for that? You don't want to torque these suckers down, because this is your dump method. Whenever you pull this magical string, she dumps. Another thing, this bolt right here, you can, absolutely can over tighten this. I'm sorry, not this one. This one, the spring one. This one right here on the spring. See how there's a gap there? You want that gap. I don't remember seeing that in the instructions, but you're going to want that gap, because if not, this daggone thing is not going to work. You're going to pull that handle, it's going to dump. And the way this works with this plow here, or this mount, is whenever you do your dump and you start backing up, you slowly do this and it clicks right into place. Whenever you're lowering it down, it clicks into place, then you lift it up and you're ready to go again. So these were the modifications I've already made. I told you I had to use cotter pins on this. It worked. Nothing bad happened at all, which I'm very, very grateful for. I don't know what I'm trying to take a picture of. Well, probably the cotter pin. Anyway, so my winch, however, I mean, look, you just look at that. Now, that's a 4,500 pound winch, and I am not a mathematician at all, but I'm pretty sure you couldn't squeeze 4,500 pounds in this stinking bucket if you wanted to. I'm just saying. Another thing that I would suggest is I was doing this dirt pile around to the side, and I would not recommend ramming the pile. I mean, you got to realize what you're working with. I didn't ram into it. What I did is I slowly drove up to it, hit the gas to cut into it a little bit, and slowly raised. And the bucket kind of, you know, it does a little curl somewhat. I absolutely, positively would not recommend driving it in there as hard as you can and lifting up. Because you're going to find another weak point that I didn't. I promise you. But other than that, I was really halfway impressed with this mount, and you know, it did pretty good. It wasn't horrible. After I got the little kinks worked out, such as this lever right here, finding out that I over torqued this, I already knew not to over torque these, just for the sheer fact that that's my dumping mechanism. You know, if those suckers are tight, it's not going to want to release too well. Now, if you have wet material, like obviously I had last night, it's going to take you a few times maybe to dump this sucker. Another little thing, if you have a heavy bucket, this sucker is hard as heck to pull. If you can't get it, lower the bucket all the way down, take the pressure off, hit that lever, and raise up on your bucket, then start backing up. And it'll allow you to spread it a little bit. It's not going to be perfect, just know that. But do not trip this, dump your bucket, and rock this forward, or drive forward. That may seem like you're going to get more out, but I'm telling you, I don't know if that's what broke this, because I did that before. I'm not sure. But again, you may find a weak point that I didn't find. I'm just trying to tell you guys that way so you can maybe save some time and, you know, aggravation on it. But yeah, overall, if you're on a budget, so to speak, you already have an old side-by-side. And I ain't gonna lie, she's a Kawasaki Teryx, but I worked her like a mule. And next, we're gonna move the old 69 because she just don't need to be there. She's gonna set right here. Right here. Why not? So I can just look at it. Just look at it. You know. Actually, I got people coming to do some plumbing work, so for the old right turn garage, and it's got to move. So anyway, like I said, if you're on a budget and you already have a Teryx or a Polaris or a Mule or whatever, I'd go ahead and buy one of them buckets. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't horrible at all. It did take me longer. If you got a side-by-side, if you got an old tractor, use it over this because your back drag is going to be easier. You're not going to be able to haul as much with this as you can, you know, a skid steer or a loader or what have you. But if you're poor and you don't have one, or one's broke down in your yard, you know, skid steer broke down in your yard. Anyway, and you can't find parts for it because it's a 1816 case. And if you know where an 1816 case clutch is, electronic one, just send me a little message there because I'm having a heck of a time. I got a part number and everything. Anyway, I would absolutely recommend one of these buckets. This one or the Warn. The Warn winch, or the Warn bucket actually has, it's a bucket conversion. They bolt on the backside. What it is a plow, and then it has a bucket conversion. Now that sucker's neat. It is very neat. As far as I know, I'm pretty sure you use that exact same type attachment there, this plate. I'm pretty sure you use the plow plate with it. I'm about 100% sure, but like I say, Google it. It's for your own application, it might be different. But with all this work done, like I say, this saved me a bunch of money. I didn't have to rent any equipment. I forget how much the bucket was. It's on the Amazonian type site. And it got my pile down to where I don't have that anymore. And it did a pretty daggone good job. I'm pretty impressed with it. I'm glad that I bought it. The winch, it's a week old, so I'm really not happy with that. By the way, I do these videos to help you guys save money, and I learn as I do it. So I say that to say this. This is my old winch. Before I show you, if it has 4 bolts to it, put 4 bolts back in it. Because I twisted, this is my fault, 100%. This is no fault of this old winch here. It did work really good, and I messed it up personally. This is my fault. As you can tell, I did not put all the bolts in it. Honestly, I had to modify this plate. I had to cut holes in it so I could reach the bolts underneath, okay? That's 100% my fault. I got 3 out of 4, and I don't know if it was like meatloaf or somebody. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. So I said 3 out of 4 ain't bad. And I was wrong because I busted the heck out of that sucker. This one here, I'm about 197% sure that right there is not my fault at all. I don't really know what happened, but that's okay. Long story short, guys, if you need a cheap way to haul material, you don't have a tractor or side-by-side or a skid steer or whatever, and you do have a side-by-side that's a utility, this is a utility one, I would go ahead and get the bucket. If it's not time critical. If it is time critical, go rent you a side-by-side, or side-by-side, shoot. Go rent you a skid steer from somewhere. There's all kinds of places that rent them. And it will save you money, time, all that good stuff. But if you're doing it on your spare time, you're doing it on a budget, you're trying to save a few pennies, and you plan on using it again, just get you a bucket. I plan to get a tractor eventually, but I've got so many other things to get right now. So anyway, this has been Right Turn Garage. Thanks for watching. Hit the little subscribe button there or there, wherever it is on these things. I would sure appreciate it. And these videos, they'll get better. It won't be long. It will be on that big beauty right there. Right now, she's a bit, working bench here. But next is the IROC Z convertible. And we should be getting concrete very, very soon after they do the plumbing. And then, as soon as we get the concrete in, since it doesn't run or drive because it doesn't have a front end or anything, we go to the Golden Beauty here. The old 69 Camaro. And that one, I personally cannot wait to start doing. And then I might take a breather. I might just go, but I probably won't. I'll probably get another hunk of crap and work on it and post videos, and you guys say, what is this guy doing? He's crazy. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. You have a good weekend.